Hi guys, this is SanyyaGardez, and as I promised, I will be answering some of your questions, some curiosities, that you guys had. So let's start with, let's start from the top. Okay, Priya Molji, who's this amazing blogger. I met her I've known her on Facebook forever, but she wanted to know about the award ceremonies that we just attended, and had I mentioned it before. As you might or might not have known, my show, Broken Silence, was nominated for the Best TV Show category at this year's Asian Media Awards, and I fully expected to win, but I did not. And when they announced the winner and it wasn't me, my face was something like... But, sometimes you need to eat humble pie, and it's very bitter, but I think it's sometimes very necessary. Asjad Nazir, who I love to no ends, has asked me, do you find men with mustaches attractive? If so, what kind of mustache lights your fire? Well, Asjad, the kind of mustache that lights my fire is the kind that curls up at the corner, and you see these guys like playing with it. And that's hot. The little mustaches that are over here, not so hot. But, any mustache that you're sporting, Asjad, lights my fire. So there you go. Okay, Lali Wanjara wants to know, why doesn't the music industry, why isn't it more fair, and instead of helping their friends, why aren't we being more fair with the other musicians? Lali, you know what? It is something that I've debated on my show, and it's a question that I'm asked often, and I don't really understand all the ins and outs of it. I do know that it's an industry. It's a money-making industry. So, for example, when a channel like Z or Brit Asia or B4U or whatever channel it might be charges the artist to play their songs and put them on a rotation, it is essentially the same thing as a mainstream artist such as Rihanna or Beyonce, who pay these huge PR companies to do their marketing for them. So, in essence, any artist, whether you're in mainstream or you are Asian, is somehow having to put out money to get the promotion. I personally don't feel either way for it. I just know that this is the way that it works. And you are right, though. It is unfair that oftentimes people in the industry who have some clout will use their friends or promote their friends, and it's not necessarily a very fair approach, but networking and making connections is really paramount, and it would be people like us, you and I, who can help change the way that it works, and change it for the better for the newer generation of artists and broadcasters and hosts, because I think it works the same way for everybody in the media. It's more who you know than what you know. Jay Sanga wanted to know, if you hadn't gone into journalism, what other career path would you have chosen? Jay, it's a very good question. I always wanted to be a veterinarian growing up. I loved animals, and I thought that I could be like a Dr. Dolittle. But I was like very squirmish of blood, so that wasn't going to happen. My mother kind of pushed me into media because I come from a family of writers and journalists. My grandfather, a lot of people don't know, was Kamal Amrovi. He was the director of Pakiza, but he was a very prolific writer, as were the rest of his brothers and cousins, Reis Amrovi, John Elia. All of these guys were instrumental and fundamental in changing the direction of the Urdu language and kind of putting it on the map. So writing has always been in my blood, and I went into media because of that. Pali Ladhar, I'm really bad at pronouncing names. Pali's asked me, if you were to appear in a Bollywood or a Bhangra video, which actor artist would you want to star next to? Okay, just off the top of my head, I would want to, if I was going to do a music video, and I have been open to it, not to do the booty shaking club scenes, but like a cameo. I think it would be fun. Like, it'd be so interesting. It'd be it would take me off out of my comfort zone, in a studio where I'm doing the hosting. It would be interesting. I would do it for Imran Khan, I think. Bohemia. I would do it for Adil Omar. I would do that for I can't think of anybody else right now from the top of my head. That doesn't mean that I wouldn't be open to other artists. I want to do something edgy, something with a nice like storyline. You know, not I don't want to do the I can't dance, so I don't want to do any of that anyway. Okay, and then I had some more questions. I just need to go back to that page. Okay, somebody had asked me about my background. I am a Pakistani-born American. I consider myself both Pakistani and American. I moved here when I was 4 years old because my father, who was a irony of ironies, he was a communist accountant. And his political views had him dismissed from his job, and we ended up staying in the U.S. So that is where I came from. Yes, that question was from Nomi Big. Thank you for question, Nomi. Harry Shamsa, I think this was my last question, wanted to know, what do you think a man should do, say, or give a woman to make her forget about the stresses in life? Something every man can afford. Every woman wants the same thing. Love and attention. And when I say attention, not the, as one of my good friends put on their status update, not the really, interesting, but your real attention. And, you know, validation that you still find them attractive and that you still love them. I think women thrive on that, and the happier your wife or your girlfriend is, the happier you will be. And I have to answer this question too. Ronnie Gooman asked me about the size of my feet. Ronnie, you'll be surprised about the size of my feet. I am a woman that is 5 feet 8 inches tall, and my shoe size is a size UK size 4 or 5. And you know what? I have 2 different size feet. Yeah. You know, I just do. There you go. But I remember walking into a really high-end department store, and I'm the least unpretentious person, and so these kind of situations make me feel uncomfortable anyway. But he, you know, sat me down and looked at my feet, and he's like, "How tall are you?" When I told him how tall I was, he said, "Okay, with how small your feet are, you must be a very clumsy woman." And I am. He was absolutely right. My feet are like as if my parents did the whole Chinese binding of the feet thing, which I don't think they did, but yeah, I don't know. They are quite unconventional. They might have. But yeah. So yeah, I am very clumsy, and I think it's due to the size of my feet. And those were the cleanest questions I had. I had a few. Oh, how did I start how did I get broken silence? I got broken silence because how did I get into broadcasting? I was sitting in my basement in New Jersey and was inundating the Asian network with emails about hiring me. With no experience, just a master's degree, and they kept saying, like, fobbing me off until one day the program editor says, "Okay, well, next time you're in, you know, UK, give us a call." I bought a ticket, and I was in Leicester where their office used to be. I knocked on the door and said, "Here I am. Can I have a job?" And he's like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, "Absolutely not." So I started answering my very good friend Gagan Garwal's telephones. He was the breakfast presenter at the time. From there, I got an entertainment slot, and then from there, I got a weekly Bollywood show. I enjoyed it, but I was not particularly good at radio. It was just not really my thing. So when Brit Asia was launching, I walked in and I pitched them my program, and I said to them, basically, I put my heart on paper and said, "These are issues that are very pertinent to me, and if they're important to me, I'm sure they're important to other people too." They took a gamble, and they took a chance, and they gave me complete creative control, and they put me on air. So that's where that came from. I'm now in New York. I moved back a couple of years ago when my father got sick, and I'm trying to navigate both sides of the Atlantic, which is not easy. So on a final note, if there's anybody that knows a reputable agent that might be able to help me navigate my career, I will very much appreciate that. I hope that answers most of your questions. I have not answered any questions that were vulgar or insane. As a matter of fact, I have deleted a few of those people that were asking me those questions. Thank you guys for watching. Love you, and I will talk to you soon.